Oh, welcome to the Sharpe Show. So happy to have you with me this evening, right at 7 p.m. on the East Coast. Take that, Mike. So yes, I made it on time. So happy that I'm here, and it's an AMA. I try to do one every week that I possibly can, because you guys tend to love the AMAs. I'm a bit looser in what I take on and how I chat about things. So happy to have them. When I have guests, it's harder to get all of the chat, but when I do an AMA, a whole lot easier. So we have an AMA tonight. But I wanted to start off on something, as I always do, on something that I've been thinking about. And that actually is what recently happened with Jimmy Kimmel. So if you haven't been paying attention, Jimmy Kimmel has basically been indefinitely suspended, fired, removed, whatever is the phrase you would rather use. But his show is basically canceled. And you might go, Larry, why do you care about Jimmy Kimmel? I feel like this might be different than the standard cancel culture stuff. As you know, with the assassination of Charlie Kirk, many people are taking it in very odd ways, good and bad. Some people very, very hard. Some people looking at it like it's the greatest thing ever happened in the world. Odd, I think, but it is what it is. And there's some canceling going on. There is, and some doubling, tripling down going on. And generally speaking, while I don't like cancel culture, the thing I don't enjoy, I do understand it. And I'm only really angry at it when it is either government or the big guys or the monopolies that are harming people. Then I get a bit upset. But when it's people getting together and saying, you did something I don't like, therefore I don't want to associate with you, while I don't like it, it's totally fine, acceptable, should be done the way things should be done in reality, even though it doesn't feel good. So I accept that it doesn't feel good. I do. At the same time, you should still do it. That's fine, as long as it isn't government or basically government-run monopolies or government-backed monopolies. Those are the two times when I go, no, cancel culture is wrong in those two cases. I am concerned that Kimmel is one of those cases. But not just that. I am concerned this may be a bigger thing. This may be something bigger than we might. This might be something bigger than just some talk show host, right? That is my concern. This might be something bigger than just some talk show host. Here, for those of you who want to hear it, here is, I picked a couple of different places. This is the part that bothered me about it. And this is actually from the Young Turks. But they used the piece. I think this was it Fox News? I think it was Fox News where they got this from. I think so, but I'm not sure. But this is, here we go, right here.
You can do this the easy way or the hard way. These companies can find ways to change conduct, to take action, frankly, on Kimmel, or there's going to be additional work for the FCC ahead. There's calls for Kimmel to be fired. I think you could certainly see a path forward for suspension over this. And again, the FCC is going to have remedies that we could look at.
Why does the FCC need to have remedies? This is the problem. If this is Benny Johnson, by the way, on the left, and then is it Benjamin Carr? I think is the guy on the right. I think that's his name, right? Who basically runs the FCC. So the guy on the left, Benny Johnson, if he wants to decide to get rid of Kimmel, do a petition, do a pressure campaign, talk about it, make his life miserable, via social media. Again, I don't like how that feels, but I get it, and it's fine, and it's legal. It should be legal. It should be fine. There should be consequences for things that you do. I'm okay with that. But this dude Carr on the right, he's the government. He's not some dude. He's not some podcaster. He's not me being pissed off at somebody. This guy has the power of the government to crush and destroy you. I have a problem with this. I had a problem when it was the COVID regime, the C-19 regime, and Biden was doing the same shit. I was not happy then, and I said it, and I got crushed for it. you guys saw how I got hammered for it. I opened up my mouth then, and I'm opening up my mouth now. Again, these people who are doing terrible things and laughing and having fun, making fun of a widow and her 2 young children, and if they get social consequences, good, fine, not a problem. But this isn't that. This is government coming down, and openly and happily and totally okay, right? Totally fine doing it. I have a problem with this. James is it right. It seems that the right likes cancel culture as long as they're the ones doing the canceling. I say this all the time. Socialism is wonderful when you're on the right side of the gun. It's fine then, right? But when you're on the other side, not so great. Not so great. Absolutely. I have a problem with this. And this is why I bring this up. It goes a little bit further though.
Again, we may ultimately be called to be a judge on that.
Why are they being called to be a judge on that? They should not at all be a judge on that. I'm not a Jimmy Kimmel fan. I don't watch his show. I don't care. On a personal note, I don't care if he goes under or not. I mean, whatever. Do you. If he makes money, awesome. He doesn't, awesome. Him making money or not making money doesn't help me at all, right? I don't pay my bills because he pays his, right? I'm not working for him. I don't care. It's fine, whatever. I'm not mad at him, whatever. Do you. And if the people wanted to say, hey, what you said was insensitive, we're not going to watch your show, okay, get rid of him. Fine. That's not what's happening.
You just heard from FCC Chairman Brandon Carr suggesting.
Sorry, Brandon, not Benjamin. Brandon Carr. Thank you. Wrong one.
To Benny Johnson that the Trump administration could take action against ABC. And that is, in fact, in response to comments made by Jimmy Kimmel. And it turns out that Nexstar, Jimmy Kimmel's employer, has chosen to throw their employee under the bus ahead of a potential merger that they're hoping to get.
And that is the second part that bothers me. I'm going to bring that piece up. They decided to get rid of Colbert because the merger is coming up. Now they're getting rid of Kimmel. Another merger is coming up. Now, is it possible that it's a coincidence? Sure, it's possible. I don't buy that shit. This is on purpose. This is on purpose. They are literally like, oh, I want to make sure that this goes on, so I have to do the right thing to keep the regime happy. This is not a good look. And now you add the other piece, which I talked about before, the piece that really got me started. If you remember last month, a couple weeks ago, I talked about this, the 10% Intel deal. I am not happy about that 10% Intel deal. So now Trump is making deals. The government is making deals with private companies taking 10%. I know the argument, but Larry, they're making a sovereign fund. You like sovereign funds. I do. You're not wrong. I'm not against the sovereign fund. I'm not at all. What I'm against is Trump deciding I'm letting this guy happen. I'm letting this guy. No. I am not happy about this. That is my concern, and I'm worried about this. This is not a good look. It's not a good. These are 3 things that, and then I got to add one more. The other one I talked about. See, I talked about each one as it happened. What did I talk about a couple days ago? Pam Bondi saying we going after First Amendment speech. We going after hate speech. Remember that garbage? Remember that? So I got Pam Bondi talking about going after you for hate speech. I don't know what's going on there. Now I got Carr saying if he doesn't do the right thing, we're gonna punish him. I got them openly saying it. He has to change his conduct. Who the fuck are you to say whose conduct should be changed? You're the FCC dude. What? Yes. And I got Trump saying, I'm going to take over 10% of a bunch of companies. This is not good. I thought these guys were Republicans. Maybe they're Democrats after all. Maybe Trump's a Democrat after all. I know I just made some of you just want to vomit, I know. But anyway, you get my joke. That part is not good, right? And then Trump is threatening lawsuits on everybody. I'm going to sue this one. I'm going to sue that one. I'm going to sue this one. I'm going to sue that one. Yeah, it's bad.
Approved, by the way. So there's a lot to this story. Kimmel has now been suspended indefinitely over comments that he had made in regard to Tyler Robinson, the alleged Charlie Kirk assassin.
But it's not that. And let her finish real fast.
Here's what Kimmel had said, which led to so much ire being directed toward him. He said, "We hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it."
Now, to be clear, and Cenk is going to come in and say something right. I don't know if I want to watch the whole thing, but Cenk brings up that he was wrong. Clearly, he was wrong. That's true. He was wrong. No doubt. But that actually isn't an attack on Charlie Kirk. That's an attack on MAGA. My other problem. He wasn't attacked. If you've seen some of the TikToks, if you've seen some of the videos, there's far worse people saying far worse stuff about Charlie Kirk and his wife and his kids. There's people saying something about his wife and his. How cruel do you have to be insulting a man's wife and kids after he's dead? I mean, man, that's mean. I mean, just mean. That's just mean. I get you don't like Charlie Kirk, but you're gonna start dissing his widow and his kids, they're both in the 5. Wow, you're just nasty for that. People doing that. This is not that at all. This is him being anti-MAGA. Kimmel's been anti-MAGA since there was MAGA. He's been saying crap like this for years. But here's the difference. Now, Charlie Kirk's assassination, and this is my worry, and I said it before, I said to my team, I'm worried this is similar to a 9/11. What I mean by that, 9/11 gave us the horrible Patriot Act. It gave us an excuse to remove rights left and right. Just get rid of them. Now, this is an excuse. Why do I say that? Because Pam Bondi said it. Anyone coming after anybody, especially after Charlie Kirk, that's the excuse. Now, whether you like Jimmy Kimmel or not, and I don't care at all about Jimmy Kimmel. It doesn't matter to me at all. If he does great, good. If he doesn't, great. This is not an attack on Charlie Kirk. That's bullshit. It's an attack on MAGA. That's what it is. So just say it. It's an attack on MAGA, and they hammer Jimmy Kimmel. Pretext is Charlie Kirk.
Now, obviously, Kimmel's statements were inaccurate. There was no indication that Tyler Robinson was a Trump supporter or a MAGA Republican.
And I don't care if he was, to be forward, right? Him being wrong or not, he doesn't care. He's going to absolutely, do his thing because he hates MAGA anyway. I got it. That's Kimmel's gig. That's what he does. Colbert, same thing. That's their gig. I got it. You preach to your choir. You make your people happy, and you yell Orange Man back. I got you. All good. This was just MAGA stuff. This actually was not Charlie Kirk.
And to be honest with you, there's been a lot of irresponsible, jumping ahead of the gun and kind of characterizing this guy in order to, make the other political side look bad. But the one thing that has become pretty clear to me through what we've learned through this investigation so far is that he hated Charlie Kirk. He felt that Charlie Kirk was spreading hate. And
yeah, well, let's move past that. I don't really care about that part, but you guys get what I'm talking about. That's what happened. That's my concern. So let me grab one more piece. This is from Crystal and Friends, and they put together a panel for this, and of course, the guy they didn't put on the panel for this was Sagar, the only guy who might have said something kinda not completely anti-Trump, maybe. I mean, not, but maybe. He's not here, so it's just basically 3 lefties and a mouse is what this is. 3 lefties and a mouse. Is what this show. It should call this 3 left. It should call this segment 3 lefties and a mouse.
Content. I don't know what to call that, but I do want to focus in on what he said there, which he specifically said they hit Trump every night. That's not allowed. It's like,
now that's kind of true. He was on a plane, if you guys saw that, and he was doing an interview. He's hitting the presses as he always does. And he talked about it. He goes, there's these TV stations. All they do is beat up on Trump. They beat up on Trump every day. They can't do that. It's not allowed. He actually said that. He did say that. That, again, is scary, right? Because guess what? It is allowed. It is, right? You can, if you want to, you can get on a show all day and just go Orange Man bad every night if you want to. It's called The Daily Show. I don't know if it still does that, but I stopped watching The Daily Show because it just became We Hate Trump show. That's why I stopped watching it. Back when that horrible guy, Trevor Noah, he's a terrible host, just terrible. I don't know why they picked him. Anyway, it just became the I Hate Trump show. And I was like, look, I like a Trump joke. I do. I do jokes on Trump. I don't mind that. I don't want everyday Trump. I don't. So I don't watch that because I can't watch if I want to watch all day Trump, I'll just watch freaking MSNBC. That's the I Hate Trump station. I can put that on whenever I want and watch I Hate Trump shit. I can do it anytime I want. So yes, you can. It's called MSNBC. It's called The Daily Show. Back then, at least. I don't watch it. I haven't watched it in years, so I don't know if it's still that way. You can do that. But now you can't. Now you can't. Why? Because Pam Bondi said, we're coming after hate speech. Because Carr said, the FCC will have to do something to change conduct. And we're not getting anywhere near enough pushback. Why? Because Charlie Kirk. It is the same reason we got no pushback. Well, not no, but hardly any pushback when the Patriot Act came out. And almost the same reason we're getting almost no pushback on this. I do not want Charlie Kirk's legacy to be Patriot Act 2. That is my worry. Are we there? No. Does it look like we're going there? Yes. It does look like that.
Literally, in America, you are allowed to criticize the president of the United States. That's like kind of the whole deal here. Like that.
And every day if you want to. You literally can. Yes, you can. You can literally do it every day if you want to.
Part of what we're.
I hate saying this, but Crystal's right. Oh. But true.
We're all about. And as I said before, makes it plain not only that the real problem he had wasn't, something he said about Charlie Kirk's killer, it was about the criticism of him, which is why he had previously said, hey, Jimmy Kimmel's next, and been calling for his ouster. And also why you've now got, Brendan. And he said, who did he say is next, Jimmy Fallon or Stephen Colbert?
And Seth Meyer.
He literally said he wanted others next. It's not good. If you're a Republican and you support Trump, you should be concerned. You should be concerned. This is concerning. It is. Oh, yes. Is it, I'm going to guess is IL King? $10. Thank you. Insight, advice, ? I find myself defending people I don't particularly like, as I'm not conservative or Christian, like Trump before he got elected, and now Charlie Kirk. Thanks, Larry. Me too. I defend people when they need to be defended, and I attack people when they should be attacked, right? Of course, I'm with you. I didn't watch Charlie Kirk. I didn't. I didn't watch him much. I knew who he was because I seen him in clips and such. But I'm not really in the conservative sphere as much as many people are, right? So while I knew who Charlie Kirk was, and I had seen his stuff, meaning like in clips and stuff, I wasn't like a fan. Like I didn't go to Turning Point, and I never spoke there. That wasn't a thing I had done. But I never remembered him ever being violent, ever. Of all the clips I saw, I never saw him being violent. I never saw. Now, I offered, someone said he was violent. I said, please show me a clip where he was. I didn't see one. Now, people have said, show me clips where he was mean and nasty. If you are on the left, you would take it as mean and nasty. Yes, I could see that. I could see someone thinking that. I could see someone taking that way. Absolutely, I could. I could definitely see someone taking that way. But I never saw it as violence. The problem is, and this is I hate using the phrase because it isn't really accurate, but you know what I'm talking about when I say it. Woke left or socially left. Maybe that's it. Not economically left. Maybe like the socially left Democrats or socially left leftists. It's hard to know where they are now, but that part, you guys know what I'm talking about. Here we go. I'll use the term that I got from Vosh, the woke scolds. There we go. I'll call that. That group of people decided that speech was violence. And that if you say you don't believe, that trans women are women, then you want them all to die. And it's basically the same as Geno side. I'm on YouTube, so I have to speak in code. They said that, like they said, that's what it's equal to. Well, if that's what you believe, then Charlie Kirk is saying violence, but he's not. That's just what you believe. You made that shit up in your head. And you can do it if you want to, but that's not real. So yeah, Charlie Kirk, his legacy should not be Patriot Act 2. That is my concern. And I defend Trump when I should defend Trump, and I'm against him. And this is not good. Trump is wrong on this. He's got to back off. And I know why he's doing it. I know. He's transactional, and this transaction will work for him. It might work for him. He's transactional, guys. I know some of you don't like when I say it, but he proves it all the time. He's very transactional. And sometimes it's a good thing. Like sometimes it's a very good thing. Like when it comes to foreign policy, being transactional is wonderful. Like that's one of his best things, that he's transactional. He can get stuff done. That's great. But with your own people, not always so good. Not always so good. So I'm going to grab one more if I could. Hold on. This is the second part of it real fast. This is Trump's comment that he brings up. Last chunk I'll bring up. Then I'll open it up much more if I could. But I just want to make sure this was clear here.
Let's hear about Jimmy Kimmel. Why don't we?
Your Vice President Vance said that free speech is under attack in the UK. Do you agree with him? And Prime Minister, we saw dismissal of a very well-known chat show host in America last night, Mr. Kimmel. Is free speech more under attack in Britain or America?
That's a great question. Like that's a gotcha. It's a good gotcha question. I mean, whether it goes, you guys say, look, he's a Brit. He's in England. He's going to defend his country. I'm not mad at him for that. If I was a Brit, I'd probably would have done the same thing. I probably would have, right? Because you come to my country talking trash, I'm gonna ambush you. So it was a gotcha question, but I get it. If I was this dude, I'd probably have done the same shit. I'm just saying I probably would have. Because look, Vance has been trashing the UK for a while. So now you show up, you come into my country, I might have to give you something. And he did. He said, basically, if you got the question, you guys are saying that we're under attack, but you just fired Jimmy Kimmel. Maybe you guys are attacking First Amendment rights.
Well, Jimmy Kimmel was fired because he had bad ratings more than anything else. And he said a horrible thing about a great gentleman known as Charlie Kirk. And Jimmy Kimmel is not a talented person. He had very bad ratings, and they should have fired him a long time ago. So, you can call that free speech or not. He was fired for lack of talent.
Lack of talent.
Okay, that's not true. That's not why he was fired. It's just not true. That's a good story. That's cope. And every Republican who tells you that, copium. That's just not true.
Ryan and
what do we make
Emily,
of this?
Yeah, we haven't gotten you guys take, at least on the air.
Yeah. So I brought that piece up because here is my worry. Because when I was thinking about this, I thought of one specific scene from a very popular movie. It's about 20 some odd years old now, maybe 30 years old now. Is it maybe 30 now? Maybe it's 30 years old now. Schindler's List. It was a piece. And the one I could find that I didn't have to worry about copyright that I didn't think has is it Thai maybe or something underneath it? So it's got some subtitles in like Thai or something. I don't know. But you'll remember this piece. And this is my concern, because right now, if we go this route to where every time someone has to have a merger or someone wants to buy something, you got to go to government. All of a sudden now, that's how to do business in China, how to do business in Russia, right? All those things. Remember this piece? This is Schindler trying to get some of his people.
You're not the only industrialist who needs labor.
He says you're not the only industrialist who needs labor. He's talking to, bureaucrats who are part of the I did not see that coming party.
Herr Schindler, I remember earlier this year, AG Pam ordered a trainload of Hungarians for his chemical factory. The train came in through the archway, and the officer in charge of the selection went immediately to work.
So he's saying that this other guy, industrialist, went for a chemical factory, and the workers came. We know who the workers are, right? I don't want to get canceled on YouTube, but we know who the workers are. These are workers who are part of a certain religion/ethnic group. Just in case you didn't see the movie, that's who we're talking about here. You know that specific religion/ethnic group we're discussing here. So he's saying we're bringing them in, and then this guy just said, no, I'm taking them. I'm going to send them off to the camp to have the fine old solution. That's what he's
I
talking
sent
about now.
2,000 of them straight away to special treatment.
Special treatment, they call it. Special treatment.
It is not my task to interfere with the processes that take place down here.
He says, I can't take, what am I going to do? I can't do anything.
Why do you think I can help you?
Why can I, how can I, what?
Help AG Pam.
I couldn't help that dude.
Allow me to express the reason.
He says, allow me to express the reason. Here's some diamonds. Here's some diamonds.
I'm not making any judgment about you.
And he literally says, I'm not making any judgment about you, saying, dude, this is business. This is business. This always is. It's business. Here's diamonds. Give me what I want. That's what I'm worried about happening. Not exactly that, but pretty close. What I'm worried about that, right? So here's an airplane, Trump. Let me get some oil. Here's a gift about this. Let me get this. And it won't be Trump, obviously. I'm teasing when I say Trump. It won't be Trump. That's the issue. It'll be Carr. It'll be Bondi. It'll be whatever. Patel. Insert person here. It'll be that bureaucrat who now is close to Trump, and someone walks up and says, let me explain why, and throws some diamonds or whatever is equivalent there. Bitcoin.
In the coming months, we're all going to need portable wealth.
He says, in the coming months, we're all going to need portable wealth. This was 1944. They knew the war was over then. I've been telling you this forever, and there's so much documentation on that. The high command knew the war was over in 1944. They knew it was over. One reason why I can't stand FDR, because he could have ended this war in 1944, and all those people going for special treatment wouldn't have gone on special treatment. That wouldn't have happened. They knew the war was over.
I could have you arrested.
This part's great. He goes, I could have you arrested. And what does Schindler say in return? So remember what he says. I love this part.
I'm protected by powerful friends. You should know that.
He says, I'm protected by powerful friends. You should know that. Do I want my government to be that bad? Don't get me wrong. Our government is already like that. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying like we're some perfect. I'm not saying that. But if we keep going, we're going to be this. Like we're going to be this. I got powerful friends. That's how it is in Russia right now. That's how Russia gets. It's probably 15 years ago. A woman writes a book about Russia. And she's talking about how many Russians want to come to America and visit America. And she's like, why do you guys want to come to America? You're rich here. Why do you want to come? She's interviewing. So why do you want to come here? You're rich. You're happy in Russia. Why do you want to come to America? And this guy's like a CEO of like an oil company or something. I forgot, like some big companies. He's a CEO of something. I forgot what it was. And the guy opens up his drawer, pulls out a pistol, puts it on a table. He says, "'Cause in Russia, this is how we solve our contract issues. It's how we enforce our." He had a pistol. He's like a CEO of a company. Imagine, whatever, the CEO of whatever, McDonald's or 3M or whatever, Cisco, got a pistol in his desk, pulls it out. That's how we solve contracts right there. We're going to be there. This is my worry. So what's this dude do?
I do not say I'm accepting them.
He's not saying I'm accepting him.
All I say is I'm not comfortable with them on the table.
As he grabs them all. And done. This scene, I never forget that scene. It was just so well done. It was just so well done. And I don't want us to become that. And I am starting to get worried. Now, maybe I'm exaggerating, possibly. Possible. But I see it. I see it on the way. And here's the worst part. Okay, again, why I'm worried again. This goes back to something earlier this year. And the earlier piece this year is gerrymandering. Okay, why? Trump and his people decide, hey, let's gerrymander to get some seats. And Democrats don't go, that's wrong. Let's have the Supreme Court do something. Let's fight with the courts. Let's get the people to understand. No, Democrats act like they don't do it. They did it like 2 years ago. So they did the same shit. So our Republicans go, we're going to do it. And Democrats go, well, we'll just do it. So instead of them trying to fix a broken system, both sides double down. Democrats did it in New York in 2022. Republicans now want to do it in 2025. Democrats do it again in 2026. That's not the answer. It's a broken system. Fix it. They're not doing that. My worry is, okay, so Trump makes this happen with his people now, with Bondi and Carr, and then whoever wins next time, whatever, I don't know who could. Shapiro wins. Is that whatever? Buttigieg wins. Whatever Democrat I throw up there, right, wins. And he puts his people now. And now his people got the armbands on, doing what they want to do, putting people in the camps. We swap back and forth. Wrong answer. That is what I'm concerned about. That is my concern. All right, let me grab some comments. I've got a bunch of them. I'm going to try to grab it. And I will be very loose because it is an AMA. So I will grab some of these right here. Kim starts with, I think Jimmy should have been reprimanded and not removed unless there be another infraction. Like Betty White in the 50s said something like, live with it. Yeah, I agree that this was not fireable. I agree. I think it wasn't. But I think it's because of the merger. Maybe I'm wrong. I think it's the merger. Vivek says, from what I understand, the ratings are down. True. Ratings been down for all of them. They're all down. I think Gutfeld is killing them all. Gutfeld's beating them all. And Gutfeld's on cable. That's worse. Gutfeld's on cable and whipping their ass. It's true. And the producers didn't like his comment. I think he was going out anyways, but the FCC chair's comment was concerning. I can't see that he was going out anyway. Maybe, but when it came to, for example, Colbert, yeah, he's gone 5 months from now. Why you fire Kimmel now? Why is he pack your shit, don't come back in? Why is he that? When you go, you know what, Kimmel, we're not renewing you or whatever. Why not that, Vivek? Yeah, this was show. This was to show that they have bent the knee. You could have just went, all right, you know, we're not renewing you, or we're going to have somebody else take over, or your show is going to be taken over by some other guy, or we're going to do a cool thing and tell you 3 months from now who the new host is, or whatever. There are so many ways they could have done it. This was the way that said, we're done. Mitsunagi says, Jimmy Kimmel is in the process of moving his set from Hollywood to Brooklyn. Oh, for a September 29th premiere date. He does his move every year. Don't be surprised if he gets reinstated by then. Well, look, if he's moving, if this is true, I'm assuming you're telling the truth here. Vivek, this proves you're not right. A move like that, particularly September 29th, a move like that costs tons of money, a lot of time. Why in the world would the studio spend all that time and money to move him if they were going to fire him? Doesn't make any sense. For someone like him, that's literally millions of dollars. That's not a joke. That's literally millions of dollars for that move. Why would you throw millions of dollars away? Why would you start? You probably signed a contract in Brooklyn. I'm assuming you did, right? For whatever time period you want. You got some contract. You're losing that deposit now. That's gone. Or if you had a contract, you got to get it out of contract. That's costing you cash for nothing. And the movers, all the stuff. So you're taking a bath. Why do it if you're going to do it? See, Vivek, this makes me think that it wasn't that. That's cope. I don't mean to be mean. It's just cope. King says, just to send you a little more dollars. Thank you. Thank you. It's pronounced IL. Oh, thank you, IL. There we go. People from my favorite book series, The Wheel of Time by Robert Jordan. Oh, thank you, IL. IL King. Okay, got it. IL King. So yes, thank you for the $5, my friend. I appreciate it. So yeah, so I'm not with you, Vivek, on this one. I'm not. I think that Mitsunagi's correct. It makes sense. So yeah, Phil says, Mitsunagi, you're probably not wrong. It's an expensive show in general. It is expensive. I agree. So why would you make the move? You would have had an excuse. If your leadership and you know that he's going to be fired soon, you would have made an excuse to not do that thing. Whatever, not this year, short on cash, your ratings aren't that great, blah, 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 whatever. Yeah. Matt says, I really don't think this particular line was egregious. He was taking shots at Trump, not really Charlie on that one. That's my point. This was not an attack on Charlie Kirk. This was an attack on Trump, and the pretext is Charlie Kirk to make it okay. That's my exact point. It was to make it okay. That's the issue. So Legacy Zach says, Larry, what are your thoughts on why people confuse LLMs with AGI? They don't. They have no idea. They don't confuse them. They couldn't tell you what any of those mean. At least half the people here don't even know what either of those terms even mean. For those who know, it's types of AI. right? They have no idea. So they don't confuse them. They have no idea. They just know AI. They just know ChatGPT or whatever AI they use, Grok, whatever is their thing, Gemini. That's what they know. They couldn't tell the difference. Why would they? Why? To be forward, why should they? All they know is I pay my $20 a month and I get to use ChatGPT or whatever they do, right? Or whichever one they use. So yeah, I don't think people know, and they're not going to care. Some people are like, well, we have to regulate it. I'm just going to be very forward with you guys. We're not going to regulate AI at all, and we will eventually get AGI. That I don't think we're there. Are we not there? We're not there yet, right? I don't think we're there yet. But anyway, maybe you know something I don't know. Legacy. I don't think we're there yet. In fact, some people have told me. Some people have said on interviews that we are there already. Some people have said no. So I don't know which experts to believe in that one. So I don't know if we're at AGI yet. I don't know, but some people have said we're there. I know I've seen videos people have said we are, and people said we're not. So I don't know enough to know if we're there yet. But the point being, it's not going to be regulated. And why? Because AI is actually a weapon system. It will be like, we're going to regulate nuclear weapons before we get them. Not going to happen. The battlefield in the next 3 years will be almost completely controlled by AI. It's getting controlled by them now. It's on its way. 3-4 years from now, it'll be completely controlled by AI. And so we're going to have that. We're going to have to be able to defend and attack with AI. Not just that, the markets are going to be completely controlled by AI in probably 2-3 years. Is my guess. Over 50% of all trades in the world are now done through some form of algorithm / AI already, some form. So yeah, within a couple years, it's going to dominate that. You'll be, if you don't have a counter AI, some nation will be able to destroy your entire economy just using AI. Just trash your stock exchange, trash your bond market, just using AI. So yeah, I hope I answered your questions. I don't know if that was a good answer, but that's my answer. So yes. All righty. Michael says, fire the, I think you mean FCC chief. Why? Trump's happy. He ain't firing that dude. He's happy. Becky Lee says, a conservative account I follow on X posted the Kimmel clip after it aired and encouraged all to call ABC Disney to get rid of him. They shared all the different numbers to call and did it. That I don't mind. Do you think that's what it was? If it was that, I don't know if it was that. From what I see, it was not that. But if it was that, I'm actually okay with that. I'm just pissed off at the FCC is taking credit for it, if that's true. FCC chief, that guy, Carr, is taking credit for this, Becky. So either it was him who put the pressure on him, or he's lying and taking credit. I'd rather him be lying and taking credit. I hope that's the reason why. But then Trump's taking credit too? Why wouldn't the people on X take credit? I don't think that's what happened. I mean, I'm not saying that isn't what happened. I don't think the phone calls is what fired him. I think it was pressure from the government. And I'm only saying it because they've done it before. Biden did that shit the entire C-19 era. Biden did it the whole time. So the deep state's accustomed to that. So since Biden did it for 4 years, all of a sudden Trump comes says, hey, I'll do it too. Like, we got you. We've been doing this for years. We got you. What you need? Who we going to pressure? Who we going to bully? We got you. So deep state knows how to do this. So that's why it feels to me like that's what happens. So yeah, maybe I'm wrong. Legacy also says the federal government should shut down and never reopen. That would be awesome. But let's have a way of us surviving first. How about we survive first? Like have a way of our culture surviving first, of our community surviving first. I'd like that first. So yeah. Missy says, I'm going to be a minority here, but I think Kimmel's an ass. I'm glad to see him gone. I don't think you're a minority. I think a lot of people don't like Kimmel. Again, to be forward, if what Becky said is true, and this actually happened because of public pressure, good, go away, whatever. People don't like you. Okay, you're a public figure. You got to put up with what you got to put up with. You got to fight the good fight. That's how it works. I'm not mad at it, whatever. But I don't think that happened, Missy. I think government got rid of him. And I'm not mad. You can, I think a lot of people are happy he's gone. But if you are really if you are really a libertarian, if you are, I know many of you watching are not, but if you are a libertarian and you don't like him, then you'd be like, I'm glad he's gone. But the way he went is a bad way to go. If that makes any sense, right? It's a bad way to go. So yes. Legacy Zach says, the right is more woke than the effing left. Who knew? I'm not, I wouldn't go more. But I talked about, if you remember, I talked about the woke right a couple of months ago, and people did not like that shit. But here we go. Here we go. I don't think worse. I think they're the same. And boy, does that make it. That makes everybody mad when I say that. Because the left goes, we're not as bad as the right. The right goes, we're not as bad as the left. Doesn't matter. So yeah. But yeah, anyway. Let me go head on over to, I got a couple here. Let me grab Instagram. I'm the real, MB Peterson says, it is not hypocritical for the party of free speech. Is it not hypocritical for the party of free speech and less government claiming to be against cancel culture lowers themselves just for revenge? Okay, two parts. One, they're not that. They say they're that. So there's that. So it's hypocritical for them to say that. Yes, that's true. But to be fair, when I say it all the time, politics is petty. It's petty. And I know people always think, no, it's the people up here thinking big about X, Y, and Z. No, it's not. No, it's high school. It's just with a lot more money. It's high school with a lot of money. So people go, are we still in high school? Yes. Yes, we're still in high school. Stop asking that dumb question. What, are we in high school now? Yes. Yes. We never leave high school. Yes. We are still in high school. Correct. So you can stop asking that question. The answer to your question is yes. So yes. So yeah, they get revenge. It is hypocritical, but it's also human. I know it sounds terrible. It does sound terrible, but it's still kind of true. You see it everywhere. You see it everywhere. So Space Jason is over on Rumble. He says, thoughts on Jeremy Kaufman's post about Ron Paul in regards to RP's vid on cancel culture. Hold on. I'm ready for Ron Paul. Stop talking. Paul wasn't. I don't know. I didn't pay attention. I don't. I know people often want me to be deeply involved in like LP drama. I'm not. I didn't even know that happened. This is the first time he told me. I don't pay attention to that shit. It doesn't mean anything. People get so mad. Libertarians get so mad at LP New Hampshire. Only libertarians care. No, but I didn't even know what happened till you told me. I don't care. If you wouldn't have told me that, nobody would have told me that. I'd have never even heard of it. I might have heard it like when I go to an event, somebody would say, you hear that stuff he said? I don't know. Libertarians spend more time showing the world our bad side so we can virtue signal on how good we are versus just ignoring the shit and moving on. I don't know what he said. I don't. I've had Kaufman on my show. Kaufman's very open about what he wants. He's very open about what he wants. One thing I'll give Kaufman, that guy, he's not hiding anything. He's like, this is what I want. If you aren't what I want in my state, get out. And I'm not talking. He won't be mad if he hears me. He's watching. He'll be like, yeah, I was right. I interviewed him. I had a little debate with him and Mike Leibowitz. Maybe a year ago. You can check it out. Mike Leibowitz, Kaufman, Polin, Larry Sharpe. The little debate. Kaufman's open. He's like, I want my people that I like to be here. If you're not that, you could get out. He doesn't care. He doesn't care if he makes you mad. In fact, if you don't like what he likes, he's glad you're mad. He's like, just leave. He is completely happy you can leave. And the thing I like about that is, you know where he stands. That's what I would say. So if he pissed people off, he was probably trying to, is my assumption. And if he made somebody angry, he's probably glad he did. That would be my assumption. So, and I don't know that, but I would assume that. So Americua says, sorry, Larry, I don't want folks rewarded for supporting and promoting killing humans, which is what Kimmel did. Again, I'm going to go back to Missy. I'm not saying he shouldn't have gone, but I'm hoping that what Becky said is correct. That public pressure is what made him go away. If that's what happened, I'm not mad at that. My worry is, was it the deep state Trump supporters who went, oh, here's an excuse to stop punishing our enemies? And why would they care about Jimmy Kimmel, right? Why? It's not like they would care about Jimmy Kimmel specifically. I mean, maybe Trump might have a personal vendetta, perhaps. I don't know that. Maybe he does. But assuming he doesn't, it's you get rid of Colbert, you get rid of Kimmel. Those are two big examples. Now people go, oh. Now execs go, ooh, I can't do what I want to do. I have to keep my people in line. If I don't keep my people in line, I don't get my merger. I don't get my cash. I don't get what I want if I don't keep my people in line. And what winds up happening? People stop talking. He was attacking The View. The View didn't bring it up. The View didn't bring it up. That's because some of those producers says, you open your mouth and you're gone. That I'm sure that's what happened. Open your mouth and you're gone. And they went, I don't want to be gone. I like this gig. Talk about something else. So that is my concern, Americua. Do I care about Kimmel? Either way, no. Do I care that the government may be making things up? Yes. So, Phil, thank you for the $1, my friend, over on Rumble. He says, I was hoping Trump would do, there would be blood drainage to the FCC swamp. Too bad. I do think Jimmy Kimmel was like the gold bricking guy that the boss has wanted to fire and finds an excuse. Maybe. I mean, look, Kimmel stopped being funny years ago. This is the problem with so many people. When people become popular, this is a common thing. They then think that they have some responsibility to be better or awesome, or if you're left woke, or if you're right righteous, whatever. You've got to be the thing now because you're popular. And also you think because people keep telling you and they keep kissing your ass because you're in charge, that you're super smart. You might be smart, but you're not as smart as you think you are. That's for sure. And hubris is a hell of a drug. So guys like Kimmel believe that they're smarter than everyone else. They got some responsibility to say stuff. First off, you're a comedian. You don't have responsibility to do anything except make people laugh. That's it. If you want to do other stuff, you may, but that's not your responsibility. People make that shit up, right? Your job is to make people laugh. If people laugh, you're doing a good job if you're a comedian, right? That's your job. So, yeah, maybe. All righty. Let me go down here. All righty. Got that down. Okay, so that's all for those guys. Those are all done. I got Instagram done. Let me head back over if I can. I'm trying to do this. The worry I have is government being captured by corporations and government capturing corporations and then being the same. That connection where government and big business is the same is my worry. That's when you get corporate capture, you crush entrepreneurism, you crush everything. And many people speak about that. But there is one place where you can actually get a little bit of specific details on that. You know where that is? It's civil. You knew it was. Of course you knew it was. It is civil. And every single time we do a show, I show you something cool and civil that makes sense. And this one, actually, some of you know who this guy is. This guy is Del Bigtree. Del Bigtree was actually on Free the People. And this was actually this year, a couple months ago. He's talking about how the government has been captured by the farmer lobby. The same concept. These are the worries that I have.
Welcome to Kibbe on Liberty. I'm live at Freedom Fest talking to Del Bigtree about the progress that Maha is making within the Trump administration, about RFK Jr.'s decision to vacate and reconstitute the CDC Advisory Committee on Childhood Vaccination, and reasons we should be optimistic about our potential of taking on the medical industrial complex. Check.
The medical industrial complex. This is the problem. We keep making industrial complexes, and then anyone who's small who wants to get involved can't, and then the rules can't be changed, and it requires someone like RFK Jr. to come in to make any change, which makes everybody pissed off and shakes everything up. That's how that happens all the time. But you might go, but Larry, I don't like what RFK Jr. is doing. I think Del Bigtree's wrong. Awesome, watch this. Or I love Del, and I think RFK's doing nothing great. Great, watch this. Either way, watch this, and you'll hear him talk. And look, Matt is going to ask him real questions. Matt is going to go back and forth. I know Matt, and if you know Matt, he will do that, and you will get a real conversation. You will get real details on why RFK Jr. is doing what he's doing. Del knows Bobby Kennedy very well. He's going to have detailed information on what's happening and why. You're going to see that right here, and you can start understanding what's going on. Now you can say, yeah, you know what? I don't like what he's doing. Or you know what? I do, but I got some background as to why. But more importantly, you can see how government takes over everything when you let it, which is why I'm concerned today. This is why I'm concerned today, because I don't want any more of that. We're trying to stop that. But you get the information here on Civil, CIVL.com. Head on over there, sign up. When you sign up, the code is Larry, Larry, the coolest name on the internet. And you get 50% off, $25 for the entire year. Not per month, for the entire year. $25, it's a steal. You are robbing them. Civil will not call the cops to put you in jail for robbing them. They will just let you have it for $25 for a year. They'll do. You will not be, well, not yet. You might be with Pam Bondi. If you say the wrong thing, you still might go to jail. But if you go to jail because Pam Bondi, you won't go to jail because Civil, because Pam Bondi. So, in any case, pick this up. Look, the best part about it is, again, conversations, no conflict machine, real talk with respect, real human respect to move things forward. Civil.com, CIVL.com, code Larry, 50% off. Go watch some cool stuff. Every single time I show you this show, I'll show you something cool on Civil. Right? Come on now. You know I'm right. Thank you so much, guys. All right, let me keep going if I can. I'll grab some more. I'm going to grab some more comments. I have so many of them. So, all righty. Let me go. I'm going to see if I can get some more of these if I can. All righty. Let's see here. It looks like, oh, somebody going back and forth. That's cool. All right. Missy says, I'm so salty about how the left crucified us all last 4 years. For the last 4 years. Yes, agreed. I'm not sad to see them get it thrown back at them. This is coming from a former Dem. Former, thank God. I get you. I get the feeling. I get the emotion. I do. I don't like it. I do. I get it. But the question is, this is the problem, Missy. Government treats me bad when the other guy's in charge. Then I get in charge. So I treat the other guy bad. So what happens? He gets in charge. He treats me bad. This is an eye for an eye and we all go blind. At one point, we got to stop. I don't know when it happens, but at one point, we got to stop. Maybe when we start putting in independence, we can stop. But we got to stop at one point. And again, I want to be clear. I don't mind if society smashes. I mind when government smashes. There's a difference. So, yeah. Mike Voss in the house. Carr was not the reason Kimmel was off. Nexstar is. And the fact that Kimmel, like Colbert, was losing tens of millions of dollars per year while losing orders consistently. Yeah, but Colbert's not off. That's where you're wrong, Mike. Colbert's still on. He just did a show like last night talking about how awesome Jimmy Kimmel is. We're all Jimmy Kimmel. You see that shit? He's not gone. Colbert's not gone. That's not true. Kimmel's gone. Why? Because what happened when Colbert got booted, there was no Charlie Kirk. That didn't happen. There was no assassination. Didn't happen. They couldn't get rid of him. Now Charlie Kirk's there. Gone. That's the excuse to get rid of him. So it is Carr. He said it. You saw him say it. He literally said they have to do some things and change their. He said it, dude. He freaking said it right there. I showed you in video. You got some copium, bro. Absolutely not. That's Republican propaganda. Don't believe Republican propaganda. Don't believe that stuff. I know you think only Democrats do propaganda. Republicans do too. I said they all do it. They'll do propaganda. But yes. So, all righty. Let's see. Oh, Mike's mad at me. He says Trump lawsuits have factual basis beyond his position in government. Two things at the same time. I'm not saying you're wrong on that. I'm not saying that his lawsuits are wrong. I'm not saying that. The issue here is it's all happening while he's taking other things. So he's doing lawsuits and then they're throwing cash at his library account or whatever. And then he's like, okay, lawsuit's fine. Or yeah. Two other things to be true. He could have factual lawsuits and he could wait till after he's not president, or he could not be doing it when he's having deals with people. I mean, the concept of of something being corrupt. There are rules in this, the conflicts of interest rules. Not only do you not want to have a conflict of interest, and this is legal thought for decades, if not centuries. Not only do you not want to have a conflict of interest, you also don't want to have an image or a a thought that it might be a conflict of interest. Trump's got that in spades. So even if he doesn't, even if I'm wrong and there's no conflict of interest, oh my God, is there an image of conflict of interest everywhere? It's all over the place. And he should know that, and so should all those lawyers. So yeah, you're trying to defend your boy. I get it, but it doesn't work. So, and again, Michael goes on. Kimmel opened ABC to lawsuit as his lie was a violation. He says that shit all the time. Now, people, not true, because at the time he didn't know. He made a speculation, and it was also a setup to a joke. It was a bad joke, but it was a setup to a joke. If you watch the whole thing, and it was just speculation. That is absolutely not a lie, and it doesn't open up. If that were true, every news anchor would be fucking sued. Every comedian would be sued. That's copium. Absolutely not true. You could sue every guy. You could sue me for going, I think it could be that. I could have a lawsuit against me. No. I mean, it's not true. That's not true. So, Mastermind Hour says they canceled the Jimmy Kimmel show because their laugh track went on strike. That's good. That's good. John says 2 schools of thought with this. Kimmel was dying for sure, and this was showing mercy. I don't like the FCC being involved in the decision either. Very fascist, and Donnie that lightly. Yeah, see, is it possible that he was doing so poorly they decided now is the time to get rid of him, and it's right now, and we got to just get rid of him right now? Is it possible that because he did that, this is a good excuse? Okay, he's been talking trash about MAGA and Trump literally for years. You could have done it last week, the week before, right? So you had opportunities to get rid of him if this is true. And to Mike's point, if lying is true, he's been lying about Trump for years. You have to go back and see like 15, 20 of them with a simple Google search. Why now? Now it's Charlie Kirk. That's the difference. When Colbert got booted, they didn't boot him. They didn't go, you're done, you're gone. They went 5 years. I'm sorry, 5 years. 5 months. He had 5 months. You got 5 months before you're gone. Why didn't you do it with Kimmel? 5 months. No. Charlie Kirk. It's an excuse to punish. It's an excuse to scare. It's an excuse for the government to step in. And if it was just that, if that's all it was, if it was just that, why did the FCC step in and talk about more people? Why didn't the FCC just go, well done, they got rid of Jimmy Kimmel. Awesome. They didn't do that. They went, good, and now the next. And Trump's like, let's start listing them. This guy, that guy, this guy, that guy. They got a hit list now. I love Mike, but he's buying propaganda. They got a hit list now. No way. Michael says, broadcast networks have very high boomer demographics. Upset the boomers, people turn off the network. No, they don't. That's not true. Boomers got no place to go. They ain't on the internet. They do Facebook. Are they on Facebook or Fox News? They ain't going nowhere. That's not true. So, all righty. Mike, I'll have to say tonight. Dems created the rules. No, they didn't. The most recent rules now are from Reagan. The most recent rules now, if I remember right, are from Reagan. That was the last deregulation. If I remember, I think it was Reagan, right? I could be off on that. I think it was Reagan. The Dems didn't create the rules. These rules have been around for a while. That's not true. Kimmel factualizing the airwaves constantly, true, and thus punishment is consequence. Then why wasn't the punishment last year when he did it? Last month when he did it? 2 years ago when he did it? He's been doing this shit literally for years. Right? Didn't make the rules. Yeah, they did. Getting rid of the fairness doctrine. Wasn't that Reagan? I'm pretty sure getting rid of fairness doctrine was Reagan. Maybe I'm off, but I'm pretty sure it was Reagan. So yeah, this happened years ago, dude. Yeah. Becky says, when does hate speech law go into effect? Oh, there isn't one. That's the point. It isn't, Becky. They just decided there's no such thing. Pam Bondi just decided it's true. There ain't no law. She just decided she's going to have to hate speech. At least there was a law you could try to get rid of it. I hope to vote it down. She didn't do that. Kay Jones says, is that Kyle's mom? It is. I'm glad you noticed. Yes. That was absolutely Kyle's mom. Yes, absolutely true. All righty. Phil says, Emily Jashinsky is very different on the Megyn Kelly network. Yeah, well, because she has to be a mouse in this network. This network is dominated by one person. In case you hadn't noticed which person that is. Yeah. Note what I call the show. Crystal and Friends. So yes, you get in line or you're gone. And Emily, if nothing else, is smart. And she's like, I'm going to be a mouse here, get my check, and then get people to come over to my other show where I'm not a mouse. But on this station, she's mouse. And you know I'm right, Phil. You know I'm right. She's a mouse in the station. That's fine. I'm not mad at her. She's getting her bag. Get the bag. Emily, get your bag. I got it. You got to do what you got to do. You can't not be a mouse and be on that show. You just can't. Yes. So, all righty. Mike says, it's not concerning to any Republican/conservative I know or I'm aware of. I think you're right, Mike. I agree. And I think this has been happening for a while. And I say it constantly. Some people, and I think people who hate Trump are acting like this is the end of the world for Trump. It isn't. Republicans still like Trump. I mean, his polling has hardly moved among Republicans. Republicans still like Trump. Conservatives still like Trump. That where he's struggling now is in some independents. The independents are starting to shake. His coalition isn't as strong. That's what's happening. The tech bro guys, that's shaky. Libertarians, that's shaky. Right? Some Maha people that run away you on Maha, some of them are shaky. So, but he's not losing Republicans. I agree with you. I think Republicans and conservatives, because Republicans and conservatives have to look at two things. Most people who are Republicans or conservatives who actively say they are and act accordingly, they believe in a two-party system. They believe in it. And their option is Democrats, which they do not want no matter what, or Trump, who's giving them a lot of what they want. If you're Republican or conservative, Trump is giving you a lot of what you want. I understand that. That makes total sense. Like, if I was a Republican, I'd probably be like, oh, Trump, he's fine. I don't care. He made some mistakes, but so what? Totally fine. No worries. I'd be sucking all that copium up. Give me some more. Woo, coping it up. Of course I would. So yeah, look, I had the closest thing I've ever had to someone who I really thought was going to do something was Gary Johnson in 2016. As you guys all know who you've been watching me, I honestly believed in 2016 that he was going to get 5%. I thought he was going to get 5%. Obviously, I was incorrect. He only got 3%, but I thought he was going to break the 5% and get us the matching funds. Gary Johnson could do no wrong in my eyes. None. No wrong. I wanted that 5%. And those of you remember who were around in 2016, I defended him vigorously in the press. I was a lion in the press for him. I attacked people all the time. Even after the Aleppo moment, I didn't care. I remember some guys when I talked about him, he goes, what is Aleppo? And I said, Aleppo is an excuse that guys like you use to not make change. That's what it is. It's an excuse that guys like you use to not make change, to keep our country going in a toilet. That's what Aleppo is, an excuse for guys like you. That's how aggressive I was on everything. So I get it. I was that way with Gary Johnson. I was that way. Could do no wrong because I want my 5%. And that's why I think you're right. I think for the vast majority of Republicans and conservatives, they're okay with it. They accept it. He's giving most Republicans and conservatives most of what they want. Not all. Some. I mean, even you, Mike. You've had criticisms of him. You're like, well, he's not doing this, but he's doing this, so I'm good. But he's not doing this. I think most, except for some of the people who are totally on the Trump train, those people, they're utterly blinded. But I don't think that's most. I think most Republicans are not that blind. They just think that he's given them most of what they want. So it's fine. That's my view. You can tell me if I'm wrong. So, all righty. Rick says, I call them the social left misanthropic death cult. Well, I didn't want to go that far, but okay. I got it. That's good. Wouldn't call it that, but okay. All right. All righty. Let's see. Andrea says, I saw Kirk match energy, but never condone violence. Me too. I've never seen him. I don't remember. I mean, if there's something, I'm happy to see it. If I'm wrong, I didn't watch all of his stuff. So it's possible he said something that I missed, maybe, But everything I saw that I saw in clips of him and in little videos of him, I never saw him. I never saw him talking about violence. I never did. So, but again, I'm happy. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, right? I could be wrong. So, all right. Rick says, if the U.S. Constitution was the actual law of this land, a lot of our problems would go away or be drastically lessened. Unfortunately, it's not true. Accurate. Yes. Phil says, oof, they arrest like 10,000 people a year for social media posts. Firing an unprofitable chat show host isn't the same thing. Oh, yeah, you mean for the UK. Yeah, it's not even close. The UK is far worse. Look, the UK is far worse. I'm just saying I get what he did, right? He's a Brit. He's a proud Brit. And Vance is beating up on the UK. And again, you're right. Vance is correct. Like, Vance's attacks are accurate and valid criticisms. They absolutely are. But if you're a Brit, you don't like that. You're mad because you're attacking your country. It's the old thing, right? I can call my sister ugly, but you can't, right? So I can say my sister's ugly. You can't tell her. I'm mad if you call her ugly, but I can call her ugly all I want. She's my sister. I do what I want. You don't. It's that. So that guy knows Britain's way worse than the First Amendment. But he's like, I get to say that, not you. You are outsider. Shut up. That's what he's feeling. So that was an emotional ambush. All I'm saying is I get it. But no, you're right, Phil. I mean, UK's far worse. I'm just saying, I get it. Mike says UK free speech is nearly non-existent right now. True. Brits know it. Also true. They arrest comedians and autistic kids for jokes and innocuous statements. Yes, but he's mad because the outsider said it, Mike. That's an emotional outburst. Again, I'm not saying you or Phil are wrong. You guys are both right. Absolutely true. I just know where he's coming from. And I might have done it too if I was him. Here comes some dude to come to my country talking trash? No. Take that. I think that's what he would do. So Smite says, Tucker Carlson called Pam Bondi out and even said that civil disobedience would be justified. Also, isn't it hypocritical for J.D. Vance to be part of this type of speech against censorship in Germany? Yes, I think I agree with Tucker Carlson in general. But the problem is civil disobedience only works if it's in mass. If it isn't, you just go to jail. You have to be able to organize enough people to where the government says, I don't want to do this, or the right people, because I don't want to do this. An example, of course, is the BLM marches. The riots there, that was the perfect timing, right? You can make that happen. Yes. You can't, just go to jail. So, yeah. But I get what you're saying. The second part, J.D. Vance. Yeah, look, J.D. is playing the game. And again, if I was him, I might be doing the same thing. I think he believes when J.D. Vance trashes Germany and the UK, I don't think he's lying. I think he honestly believes it. I believe he's saying what he feels. I don't think he's lying. But now he's back home. He's got to support Trump. He's the VP. So, yeah, he's just going to say opposite stuff because it's my guy. I think you're right, Smite. But would you expect him to not? I'm being serious. Would you expect him to say, yeah, that stuff my president's doing, Trump's doing, that's BS. He's a hypocrite. You expect him to say that? Now, if it's me, I might just shut up. I might just say nothing. I showed you guys the other day that there were many times in the Libertarian Party where I just say nothing. I might just say nothing. And again, my advice to the Democrats and to the left, which they did not take when Charlie was assassinated, I told the left, they're not taking no one's paying attention to me. It's fine. You don't have to. You should. You don't have to. I told them, I said, just shut up. Let the right grieve. Say nothing. I get you don't like Charlie Kirk. Some of you are probably happy he's gone. I think that's cruel, but I get some of you are happy he's gone. It's still true. You can still shut up. You don't have to say anything. And every time I say that, people go, my First Amendment right. It is your right. You may say, but because you can, doesn't mean you should, doesn't mean it's helpful. So you can say whatever you want. You can attack, as people have done, the widow and the widow's children after their father was murdered in front of them. You can attack them if you want to. And there'll be consequences, and you will deserve them when you get them, because that's a real shitty thing to do. But you may. My issue is you shouldn't. It's not going to go well for you. Shut up and go do something else. and let the right grieve. And they didn't want to do that. So, yeah. But I don't know what's Stady going to do. I don't see what's he going to do. So, Rick says, Steelman and Kimmel, everyone who is partisan is trying to cast anything horrible like this as being the fault of the other side. Sure, MAGA folks are doing that, and so is Kimmel. I'm agreeing with you. I don't think Kimmel should have gotten fired for this. He wasn't actually attacking Charlie Kirk. He wasn't. Right? He was talking trash about MAGA, which he's been doing for years. You can go back years, and he was talking trash about MAGA. I mean, 10 years more? I don't even know how long. As long as I can remember him not being on the Man Show, I can remember him talking trash about MAGA. That's however far back it is, I can remember that. He's been talking trash. So I'm not saying you're wrong, Rick, but you're fired for that? Okay, if the people say something, yeah, but because the FCC guy goes, you got to change your behaviors? You got to change your conduct? Oh, and you happen to have a merger coming? No. That's not okay. That's not okay. So, all righty. Patty says, I've said it before and I'll say it again. We are now 8 goose steps in. See, I hate when you're right, Patty. I hate when you're right, Patty. I'm not saying you're right. I'm not, because I don't want you to be right. But I'm worried. We are definitely facing in that direction. That's what I'll give you. I'll give you that, Patty. We are facing in that direction. Someone gave up a tune, right? Peace. Someone, and we all went that way. Someone did that. That's for sure. So I don't know. I am concerned, Patty. I know you are. I am concerned. Max says, I disagree a lot tonight. I'm not surprised, Mike. I'm not surprised. I don't always hammer the left. I don't always hammer the left. I hammer the right too. And this is a right night. You are seeing problems where they aren't. Is at this point. You are hypersensitive as a libertarian on this issue, or I could be overly emotional, possibly. Well, I think, look, libertarian hypersensitivity, guilty as charged, brother. Guilty as charged. I wear my libertarianism on my sleeve, and I'm not ashamed of it. You're right. And I wear it on my sleeve. I'm not ashamed of it. Yes. I worry when I see this shit. I don't trust Democrats or Republicans. When people are right, I say I think they're right. When they're wrong, I say they're wrong. And I am worried. I'm sounding the alarm now because I am concerned. This does not look good. It doesn't. And you, of course, I know you get it. You don't agree, but you have to agree on something though, which is this doesn't look good. I know you're giving me facts. I'm giving you looks because emotions matter, because feelings matter, because image matters. People often vote on feelings and image. People act on feelings and image. This does not look good. It doesn't feel good. That's for sure. And to be forward, I'm not saying that we are there. Patty's already saying it. She's already on board. I'm saying it looks like we're on our way, and I'm concerned now. And I want people now to be going, wait a minute, because the sooner we stop this, the easier it will be to be stopped. And if I'm wrong, and this was never going to happen, and Becky was right, and this is just the people doing whatever, then good. I'm glad I'm the boy who cried wolf. I'm glad I'm that guy. And Mike, next year you come on my show and be like, see, you were full of shit, Larry. And I'm like, yep, you're right, Mike, I was full of shit. I hope that's true. I hope that's true. I'm concerned. I think I'm right. I think I'm right. And yes, I'm also emotional. I am. I'm hypersensitive as a libertarian. True. But I still think I'm right, though. I guess we'll find out. Roger, thank you for $2. EPS was the biggest MAGA disappointment since Wall. What? EPS was the biggest MAGA disappointment since Wall. Oh, since the Wall. God. Okay. Oh, God. Okay. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I think EpiPen, you know who that is, the e-files, still out there, still not being done, still being like, who cares? And the funny part, again, Mike's correct on this one too. The data is in on this. Most Republicans, not all, but most Republicans and conservatives have said we care more about other things than the e-files. The e-files has become a Democratic issue. And I did not see that shit coming. But that's what's happened. The data is in. Most Republicans and most conservatives are like, there's other stuff. We don't care about that. But Democrats have jumped on, and this is the independent part. A lot of independents, and believe it or not, a lot of Maha people who want the e-files out, right? Because a lot of Maha people are anti-deep state, like big time anti-deep state, big time anti-oligarch, right? A lot of Maha people. Again, not all, but a huge chunk are. Those people want the e-files out because they see it as this is the deep state hiding. This is the deep state that's been screwing us for years. They're hiding. I want that out. So a lot of the Maha people are all about the e-files. And it makes sense. That's the world they come from. They're feeling they've been attacked by the deep state, right? They want to get back. Makes total sense. I get that. And of course, Democrats now are like, oh, that Trump might be in them. Get him. So Democrats all of a sudden care hardcore about e-files. They didn't care so much before. Now they care tremendously about it. So I do think that that's a disappointment for many people. But I think still Trump still has, again, data's in. At this moment in time, Trump still has most Republicans and most conservatives. He still has most of them. There are some, though, you will find some Republicans and conservatives who are all about the e-files, and they will turn on Trump because of it. But it's a small percentage. Most of the people who are turning on Trump in that regard are independents. They're concerned. So thank you for that. Filling with $2. He says, abusing RICO took a while after the law was passed. True. The RICO laws are garbage. I've always said the RICO laws should have had a sunset on them. Should have been a 6-year sunset. Right? Sunset means that the law goes away unless you need it again, or whatever. Let it go away. RICO laws were made for prohibition. Once prohibition was over, end the RICO laws. Don't need them anymore. Get rid of them. Who cares? Get rid of them. They just make everybody guilty, and they're virtually impossible to not convict. So yeah, I agree with you. RICO laws are terrible. They should go away. They were good for prohibition. Those days are gone. I agree with you completely, Phil. Looking over on Rumble, Shredan, thank you for the $1. Kimmel and Colbert were both helped off the air by the FCC. Okay. I don't think it was needed because the market would have taken care of it. Look at the ratings. This is the point that Mike's making, right? They were already losing money. Yes, agreed. I'm not saying they weren't losing money. They were, but they didn't have an answer yet. Obviously, because what did they do with Kimmel? Just jumping through hoops. And they gave Colbert 5 months. Why? To find an answer. So they have to come up with an answer. Are they going to fill it with someone else? They can put the space. Are they going to do syndication? What are they going to do? They have to find an answer. They literally have dead airspace. They can't have that. So they got to find an answer for it. So maybe they were going to go, I think you're right. The market was going to get rid of them anyway, but they might not have gotten rid of them for another year or two. Who knows? So I think that's a piece. And again, Charlie Kirk didn't happen. So yes. All righty. Grab some more of these if I can. Hold on. You guys going back and forth yourselves, which I love that. I do love when you guys go back and forth. It's great. So Jay Ch says, it seems like conservatives lack empathy when discussing their point. You do often find conservatives, Republicans focus more on the logical argument often because generally speaking, this is a general rule. The left cares a lot about empathy. The right cares a lot more about strength or power. The left wants to do what's good, what they seem as good versus bad, not versus evil, good versus bad. The right wants to do what is righteous, so good versus evil. There's a difference, right? And the biggest difference is good versus evil intent, good versus bad outcome, also feeling, right? So those two things matter. And that's how they often look, which is why you'll find when you find a conservative with empathy, projecting empathy well and doing that well, they become very powerful. Same in the reverse. When you find a liberal or a Democrat who could actually, project power and strength, they become very special. Most Democrats will project empathy better than strength. Most Republicans will project strength better than empathy. Again, I'm painting with a broad brush, but it's still true. It's demonstrably true, right? It's demonstrably true. You look at someone like George W. Bush, the last guy before Trump to win the popular vote. He called himself a compassionate conservative, right? So the first Bush was terrible at presenting empathy. He was terrible projecting empathy. The second Bush wasn't bad. He wasn't great. He wasn't Clinton. Clinton was a master at projecting empathy. But the second Bush, he was good at projecting strength and pretty good at projecting empathy. One of the reasons why he won the popular vote, right? One of the reasons why is because he could do that well. The compassionate conservative thing, that did work. So I think that's something. So I hope that makes sense at least. It makes sense. When you find conservatives who can, one of the guys who was good was actually Huckabee back when he was running in 2008, 12, I forgot when it was. I thought he was the only guy who had any chance at beating Barack Obama. I actually thought if any Republican can beat Barack Obama when he's running, I thought it would be Huckabee. Why? Because Huckabee is a Republican who is pretty good at projecting empathy. He's pretty good at it compared to other Republicans. Compared to other Republicans at the time, he's great, right? I mean, McCain couldn't project empathy well. I mean, Mitt Romney? Are you kidding me? These guys are terrible at projecting empathy. So relative to those guys, Huckabee was great at that. So I think he had a shot at beating. I mean, I'm not saying he could have, but he's the only guy I thought at that time who could project empathy strong enough to wait a chance of beating Obama. Obama can project empathy pretty well. Not as good. Obama's smooth. So what makes him good is since he's smooth versus slick. Clinton's slick. Obama's smooth. And because he's smooth, he projects a kind of quiet strength along with charisma and empathy. One of the reasons why when he has when he's got a projector, hard to beat Obama. He can move a crowd. That guy's great. Put him on the prompter, great. Off the cuff, though, not so great. He does a lot of that. Clinton, off the cuff, rocket. Like there's no tomorrow. Off the cuff. And Reagan, off the cuff, amazing. Projects strength and comedy, which is how he makes his warmth. That is how Reagan projected his empathy. He projected via comedy and warmth. That's why he was so good. He could do that. He's off the cuff. Reagan was amazing. Off the cuff, Clinton was amazing. Anyway, I'm sorry. I went down a long road. So let me keep going here if I can. All righty. Walk down here. John says, part of the reason why I know the war didn't end in 44 was because FDR was practically dead at that point. Well, it's because FDR had that insanely stupid unconditional surrender that no one else wanted but him. The Brits didn't want unconditional surrender. The French didn't want that shit. They wanted their country back. They didn't give it unconditional. The French were like, we have one condition. Can we have our country? Done. War over. That's what French wanted. Only America wanted that shit. I say this constantly. And if you don't believe what I'm saying and you're mad, like you care, please go do some homework on this because what I'm saying is totally accurate. And you see it in movies, you see it in books, you see it in videos, you see it by historians, so much. Albert Speer wrote about it in his book on the Third Reich. It's everywhere. By 1943, most of the German high command knew the war was over. By 1944, they all knew it was over. They all knew the war was over. It was done. They tried to assassinate the mustache man over 40 times. They couldn't get it done. And the movie about it, recent movie you saw was the movie Valkyrie with Tom Cruise in it. That's based upon a true story. And obviously it's dramatized, but it's based upon a true story. One of the reasons why they couldn't get people together to do this is because they didn't believe that they would allow Germany to survive. They thought Germany would be wiped off the map. They bring this up in the movie Fury, which with Brad Pitt. Again, this is everywhere. It's in media. It's based on everything. It's totally true. And why the Germans won't stop fighting. It's 1945. And they won't stop fighting. And Brad Pitt goes, one of the officers goes to Brad Pitt. He goes, why won't they just surrender? And Brad Pitt looks at him and goes, would you? He's like, no, I keep fighting. Again, I brings up all the time. If I believed that me losing a war meant my country would go away, you're going to have to drag me dead out of the trench. I'm not stopping. That's it, right? If America's going to not exist, then I guess I'm dying. Or I'm taking as many as you with me before I go, but I'm not surrendering ever. Doesn't matter. Never. And that unconditional surrender, the Japanese saw it as there's no way. Germans saw it as no way. And then, of course, I was the same stuff. Germans never surrendered. They surrendered in World War I. What are you talking about? Already happened. 20 years earlier. Already happened. So, yeah. No, and they got wrecked. So why the hell would they do it again unconditionally? So they can be wrecked again and not exist? That's stupid FDR. That's broken, dumb FDR, who, by the way, loved the Soviet Union, loved communism. Loved it. So some of you don't know this. The Russians took Berlin and took East Germany. Why? Because FDR wanted it that way. That's the reason. That's the reason. We could have rushed in and taken it. We could have. There wouldn't have been that Berlin Wall. None of that shit. Literally 2 million German women were SA'd, RAPED'd by Russian soldiers. I'm not making that number up. You can see it. Because when they came over, Americans could have gone in and stopped that. We could have stopped. We wouldn't have done that. We could have stopped that. We didn't. That's because FDR. That's because FDR. The whole Poland thing, FDR. He was terrible during World War II. He was the worst during World War II. Horrible. And gave everything to the Russians. With the Cold Wars because of him. And some of the German high command was so, and you see this in the movie Downfall, which is a German movie. German's made a movie called Downfall, which was about the last days of the mustache man in this bunker. And there were still people in the bunker thinking, if the Americans come, we can convince them to turn and fight the Russians. I'm not joking. That was an actual thing. There were many in the high command who actually thought they could go to the Americans and go, okay, you've won. Can we just fight them? That would have actually been the condition they would have wanted. And that's why they didn't want the conditions, because actually Patton wanted that and so did MacArthur. The generals actually wanted to keep fighting the Russians. They knew so did Churchill. Churchill wrote a book on it called The Iron Curtain. Wrote a book on World War II and called The Iron Curtain. Churchill wanted to attack the Soviets too. He knew Stalin was a monster. Churchill knew, the French knew, but didn't care. The Poles wanted to get rid of the Soviets. They wanted to have Poland. Because remember, the Soviets invaded Poland too. The Poles wanted to fight the Russians. The Germans wanted to fight the Soviets. Everyone wanted to fight the Soviets except one person, FDR. Patton wanted to fight the Soviets. They knew that they were the real enemy the whole time. Only FDR didn't want to. So yeah, FDR was a shit president. Some people are going to be mad at me, but I don't care. All those people died. So many people died the Cold War because he was a terrible president. He's the reason why World War II went into 1945. It should have ended in 44. And the Soviets should have easily just surrendered and fallen back. Should have been no Cold War. We were throwing tons of money into the Soviets. Tons of money into the Soviet Union. Tens of millions of dollars. Murmansk convoy was throwing oil, throwing stuff into them as fast as it could. So many American trucks. The Studebaker. So many trucks were put. Was it Studebaker? Yeah, it was Studebaker. So many trucks were put into Russia that a well-built woman in Russia for a time was called a Studebaker. That's how many American trucks that we had thrown into Russia to move their troops around. Anyway, you got me off on a tangent. I'm sorry, but yeah, some people love FDR. He's just a terrible president. And domestic policy. We have our horrible healthcare system because of FDR's price controls. And he put Japanese people in prison camps. And he took away American gold, made it illegal for Americans to own gold. And he rationed stuff. Terrible president. Just garbage. Anyway, all right. Lunatics in the house. Larry, why do we have to accept actors? Please educate me how we are not in a psyop. Emotions are dangerous by irrational individuals. Okay, 3 things. We have to accept actors because if we don't, we go to jail. That's the reason to answer question 1. Please educate me on how we are not in a psyop. I'm not sure we're not. I would love to educate you on that. I wish I had a definite answer. I don't. I hope we're not. That's what I will say. I hope we're not. I'm not sure we are, but I'm also not sure we are. We might be. So I cannot educate you on that one because we might be. I don't know. Emotions are dangerous by irrational individuals. Emotions are always dangerous, and people are always irrational. So yes and yes, but it's a guy named Ariel. Oh, what's his name? Ariel. I've forgotten his last name. Wrote a book called, hold on, Predictably Irrational. Oh, I read the book years ago, and he speaks about the human mind and how it works. I'm gonna see if I can get it. I think it's called Predictably Irrational. I think that's what it was called. Let's see if I can find it. Yes, it's called Predictably Irrational. Sorry, not Ariel. Dan Ariely. I wrote the book Predictably Irrational. If you have a chance, Lunatic, you should read that book. I know you got stuff going on. If you can, it's not a bad book. It's of 2008. He wrote a book talking about how we are irrational, but it's predictable. Like we know what we're doing because it's who we are. All humans are irrational at one level or another. It's a very good book if you're into that kind of thing. It's called Predictably Irrational by Dan Ariely. 2008. You can get it if you're a guy who likes, if you want an Audible, ebook, or regular book, whatever you prefer. Probably get it out of the library, I would assume. It's about almost a 20-year-old book. But yeah, we are emotional. We are rational. 100%. I agree. But that book goes through a lot of stuff that I talk about. That's why I remember it. That book was a good book. So hopefully that was interesting for you. All righty. So many of these. I'm going to keep going down here. All right. Grab that one here. All right. Rick says, we do all our horrible hashtag hit when we're afraid. Oh, yes. Yeah. Fear is everything. Fear is everything. Yes. Mastermind says, when Elon pulls out his gun, he's not allowed within 1,000 yards of a school. Oh, that was cute. I like that one. That was cute. That's because of my gun thing. Yeah. Okay. I'm like an hour behind the chat, aren't I? Damn. Mike's going to be mad at me. Like I'm way behind the chat. Yeah. All right. I keep talking about both sides. I know I do. I keep talking about how both sides keep screwing things up. I was talking about how I was hammering the left yesterday, kind of beating up on the right today. Yeah. There's a reason why. It's because very often both sides beat us up. And if you want to do me a small favor, when you have a second, head on over to the link that is in the description in YouTube, Rumble, and Facebook that says link to the advocates. Head on over to the advocates using that link, if you would. When you hit that link, do me a favor, go to where it says articles. See, it says articles right there. Boom. And then when it says regulation right there, on the regulations is the bipartisan hindering of the entrepreneurial spirit. This article, which is written only about 2 months ago, is talking about how both sides use corporate capture to trash the entrepreneurial spirit. That both sides use regulation to trash the entrepreneurial spirit. Here's the first quote. You knew dealing with regulations was part of running a business. You should just accept it. Which means you get crushed while the big guys don't. What I talk about always. This is an interesting article, and it's by Christopher Baker. And if you actually understand what he's saying here and you like it, do me a favor, share it. I ask you all the time. Go on the advocates, read some of their cool articles. If you like the cool articles, share them. And when you share them on either YouTube or you share them on Facebook or you share them on Twitter, wherever you want to share them, I don't care. Share them wherever you want to. But after you share them, in the link there, put the link that I asked you to use. Leave that link there too. So you can click on that link and go check out the advocates. The advocates, I'm asking you to do it. It's free. Usually when I'm talking about civil, I'm saying, hey, it's $25. Yeah, it's free. It's free. Just share it. Please share it. Repost it. It does matter. Help out. The reason why I talk about the advocates is because I use their products all the time to get people to talk. I want more conversations. I want more people to think like I do. That's what I want. And I don't want to use violence because I'm libertarian. I want more people to talk the way what I do and think the way I do. So have them go to the advocates. Thank you guys. I appreciate it. All right. Keep going down here if I can. All righty. Let's see. Lunatic, $10. Thank you. Says, explain to me now, FAAFO is not the ultimate policy. And I think you mean F around and find out, right? Is that what it is? F around and find out is not the ultimate policy in anarchy. Yes, look, there was a study, you probably know this one. There was a study in game theory years ago. And the idea in game theory, there's a concept called, or I should say, maybe not a concept. There's a game called the prisoner's dilemma. And it's a situation where you can imagine if there are two prisoners in two separate rooms, and in each room, they're both being interrogated. And if both prisoners don't snitch, if they're both honest, they both get something. If they both snitch, they both lose something. If one snitches, one doesn't, one gets a lot, one doesn't. What is the right way over time of getting the best outcome, right? What's the best way over time of doing that? Someone would say, well, the best way is just being a bad guy the whole time. It actually isn't, because no one trusts you. So it actually isn't. Well, you should always be honorable. No, because someone takes advantage of you, right? Doesn't work. The best way is actually reciprocity, what you were talking about. Every time you're honest with me, I'm honest with you. Every time you lie, I lie. You do something, I do something, right? You do exactly what you're talking about. That's the way you would do it. That is the best way for society to do well. That's the concept of justice. Now, we don't do that in America. We don't do justice. But the concept of justice is you did something wrong, you pay for that thing, and you move on. You have a second chance to do the right thing, and I did the right thing, you do the right thing. Back and forth, back and forth. The idea is as long as you don't F around, you don't find out. If you do F around, you do find out. I agree with you. I don't think that's the ultimate policy in anarchy. I think that's the ultimate policy in humanity. And I would call this the reason why I don't use the phrase or the word anarchy is because when people hear the word anarchy, what they feel, not the meaning, what they feel is chaos. Now, you and I know that anarchy does not mean chaos, but people have been trained that when they hear the word anarchy, the emotion is chaos, and people do not like chaos, so they don't like anarchy. So I use a voluntary society in place of the word anarchy, because that's what anarchy actually is. It's a fully voluntary society. And I think you're right. It is the policy. The problem is our justice system, and yes, I'm using quotes, is not that. Our justice system is the crime is not against the individual. The crime is against the state, and that's the problem. What I mean by that, if I murder someone, the state charges me. It's me against the state, and the state punishes me. But in reality, who was my crime against? Well, physically, it was against the individual who I harmed in some way. But the state doesn't see it that way. The state says, no, it was a crime against us. You broke our law. Your crime was against the state. The state must punish you. It's a whole different issue. If the thought process was the crime was against the person or the family, if the person is dead, against the family, you'd have to somehow respond to the family somehow. Somehow you'd have to. But you don't. So you're correct in what it should be, but not for anarchy. For the world, it should be that way. Defended by the Constitution? Yes, if we had judges who were actually responsible for the Constitution. Yes, so in theory, that's correct. Skills pay bills of survival. Systems are failing because they are proven useless. Okay, yes, but I got to go on top of that. I got to add to this one. When the systems are not responsible to the people, which they're not, this is again to our point, the systems are responsible to the government, to the system. The system is responsible to itself, which seems to make no sense. Yes, it makes no sense. So if the system fails, what must happen? We must keep promoting the system. So the reward for failure in this system that is not responsible to the people is more money. So we must give it more. So the system gets bigger, more people, more responsibility, more rules, more regulation, get bigger and slower and still can't function well. So it just becomes a massive monster that's been run by inertia. And again, its goal is just check a box. You're correct, proven useless. Unless the goal is just to stay alive, which is what it is. The goal of the system is to maintain the system, not to serve the people. And if you think I'm making that up, check any system you see in government. The goal of the system is to maintain the system, not to serve the people. So society is a facade. No, I don't want to say society is a facade. What I would say is fairness is facade. The idea of the government serving you is a facade. But society exists. It's real. Like we do care about each other. The problem is it's been broken by an unnatural system that is government. That's where I would go with that. So you might have to think about that one. That was a long one, but I hope that was good. So Trade Ann, on for the dollar. Thank you. Always start with truth and cooperation, like Trump with Putin. Where is Putin in Trump's eyes in your game theory example? Yes, no, you are right. See, this is the problem with how Putin sees it. The other issue, right? Yes, when it comes to game theory, you're always supposed to start with truth and cooperation. Shredan is correct. That's the best method. The way you start that way, you start being honest, right? That's the best way to start. And then you act accordingly. You then follow lunatic's concept and F around, find out. Don't F around. You don't find out, right? You then follow those rules. That's the best way of doing it in game theory. The problem, straight in our case, is the first person that he was dealing with was like Bush, right? I mean, like it hasn't been Trump and Putin for the past 20 years. It's been Putin and Biden and Obama and Trump and blah, 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 right? And Biden literally was just like horrible to him. Biden was terrible to Putin. Biden's policy was garbage. His way of treating Putin was garbage, terrible, right? Absolutely terrible. So now Putin's saying, like, Putin isn't looking at, I'm going to be clear, I am not validating what Putin did at all. I am explaining. Big difference, right? I'm explaining. Putin now looks at Trump and goes, you're going to be gone in 3 years. I don't know what I care about. Am I going to get a Biden back? I don't know. So the problem is Putin has trouble with trust and cooperation himself now. So he can validate bad behavior. In his mind, he can validate bad behavior. Well, you guys told me shit before, and then this guy goes away and that guy goes away. So what do I care? So he thinks that Trump is not going to care what Biden did. Whoever the next Biden is not going to care what Trump did. That's how he can validate his bad behavior. Hope that's kind of clear. So yeah. All right. Shredan also goes on. The goal of the system is to promote itself. Should be on a t-shirt. I like that. The goal of the system is to promote itself. Should be on a t-shirt. You're right. I like that. That is a good one. So, all right, let me keep going down here if I can. I got so many of these I want to grab. You guys keep going down here, and I'm so far behind. I'm sorry, I'm so far behind. I am way behind on this. Let me pop that up so I have more stuff going on here. All right. Mike says most Hollywood is moving out of California because the laws make movies, TV so expensive. Yeah, but it's coming to New York. No, the people who are leaving California are either going to Georgia or they're going to Canada. Those are big places they're going. Georgia and Canada. They're not coming to New York. New York's expensive too. So yes, trades have been talking about how all moving out of state for months now. Kimmel's moving cheap. Moving is cheaper than to stay in California. Yeah, no, he'd be going to then. Well, it used to be Vegas too. Used to be. That's gone away. That's not true anymore. But now it's heavily Canada. And for those who are movie making, believe it or not, New Zealand. But no, Vancouver is a big deal. Toronto, huge. Atlanta, huge. So yeah, not New York. People come to New York, but not from California. You stay in New York. So, all righty. Ryan, are you gonna be around for the Larry-thon? Yes, about the Larry-thon. Yes. All right. The Larry-thon. For those of you who want to, for those of you who want to support my political endeavors across the state, I'll say that. Those of you who want to do that, Saturday, 2 p.m. Larry-thon. From 2 to 6 p.m., I will be Eastern. I will be on the Larry Sharpe properties, right? Larry Sharpe YouTube, Larry Sharpe Facebook, Larry Sharpe Twitter, Larry Sharpe properties, talking about my endeavors, my political endeavors across the political spectrum here in New York State. That's not Sharpe Way. It's a separate entity. Don't get me in trouble. It's a separate entity. If you are concerned about that, please show up from 2 to 6 Saturday. If you want to do that, please do that. I will have several special guests, including Maj Touré, Spike Cohen, Chrissy Mayer, and more. We'll be there. We'll be chatting, talking back and forth, and we'll be talking about what's happening. And I will be asking you at that point for money. It is a fundraiser. I'll be asking you for money. We'll be talking. You don't have to give money. Of course, you can just watch and have a good time. But if you have money, give me money. When the time comes, I'll be asking for that. The information is on LarrySharpe.com if you want to go there, and Larry Sharpe Properties. So if I can see you there, please stop by 2 to 6 p.m. Saturday. Cool people chatting back and forth, talking about my political endeavors across New York State. So for those of you who care, thank you. I hope to see you there. All right. Grab some more if I can. All right. Minor Threat says, some so-called experts saying 98% of jobs will be AI. I don't think it will be 98%, but it will be a huge chunk coming up here soon, faster than we think. There is going to be a bloodbath. Yes, a bloodbath when it comes to jobs. It's a lot. I think 98% is an exaggeration, but I could see literally 50% within a couple of years. I think that could actually happen. I'm seeing it already. I'm watching it happen already. And lawyers, doctors, even, you're seeing it already happen. Yeah. It's a problem. It is a problem. And the worst part is it's going to happen so fast, we're not ready for it. And my biggest worry is that the answer, Minor Threat, people are going to scream for UBI. I have been talking about UBI for years because I knew that is where this ends. This ends with UBI, right? And if we don't find an answer for Americans in the next 5 years, it's UBI. I think, and Lars Mapstead brought this up. He was talking to me about, we were chatting about this idea that in 2028, for the presidential election, UBI is going to be a huge issue. Like that will be one of the things on the market, on the docket when it comes to policies. UBI will be talked about by 2028 because it is going to be a big deal. So yeah, it will be a big deal. Absolutely. Yes. Al King says, what is a Larrython? Yes, it is 4 hours. It is 4 hours long. I explained it already. So yes, I hope that makes sense now. So yeah, so if you can watch it, please come. Yeah, and it's for 4 hours, so you don't have to watch the whole thing. Come in for a half hour here, 10 minutes here, 20 minutes here, whatever the case may be. So yeah. Grand Region says, no, it was FCC chair making threats. I agree with you. I think he's right. I agree. Yeah. Patty says, there are more computers and phones on the planet than humans. They already outnumber us. True. Yes. True. Minor Threat says, what is the other channel called? It's just Larry Sharpe. This is the Sharpe way. And then this is Larry Sharpe. That's it. Graham says, when did Biden do it? I'm not sure what you mean by that. When did he? This is a while ago. So it could be, when did Biden do this? He did it when he was telling Facebook, when he was telling YouTube to cancel people, to trash people. That's when he did it. So Biden was on this shit already. He did it already. So yes, he was already doing it. Yes. So I hope that makes sense. So, all right. I'm going to zip past, grab a couple of these if I can. So yeah, but Biden did a lot of this stuff during his time. I didn't want Trump to copy, but again, the deep state, or what we might call permanent Washington, if you don't like the phrase deep state, permanent Washington is still there. So they know how to do this stuff. They did it with Biden. They'll do it with Trump. They don't give a damn. Okay, let's do it. They'll do it the way. I wanted Trump to not do it, right? I want him to not do it. So yes. Rona says, Larry, please take the logical and morally correct next and final step. Become an anarchist voluntarily as you are too smart for politics. Let me be very clear about something. You can only go there. You can only go there if you accept there is no chance of change. Perhaps you're there. I'm not there. You think logical and morally are the correct and final step. That is a lot of hubris on your side. That is a self-righteousness level that you have. That is simply not true, not demonstrably true. I could easily say it is moral. It is immoral for you to leave. Why would you walk away from politics when you know that is the only real chance of saving humanity, of saving the country? I could, you're not responsible, but I'm saying I could just as easily and flippantly as you would say, what is morally correct? Couldn't I just flippantly do the same to you? I could flip it right back, right? I could say logically, if you walk away and take yourself out of this system, you cannot be defended. But if I'm in the system, I can be defended. So I could say logically that I'm doing the right thing, not you. I'm not saying either of us is right. I'm saying you're just saying it. I can make the argument the opposite, right? Logical step is becoming an anarchist. What happens when you go against the system? You go to jail. Well, I'm righteous. Great, you're righteous, but that's not logical because now your family and friends are now punished because you're rotting in prison. Your life is now over because you decided to break the system. What if I stay in the system and I know people and I'm like Schindler and I can drop my diamonds on the table and I can get myself out of jail? Isn't that the logical thing to do? Shouldn't I, with that logic, shouldn't I say that grifting is the right answer? Because grifting is the most logical one of them all. If I grift, I'm part of the system. The odds of me getting in trouble go down tremendously. I mean, I could get caught, but most of them don't. And if I do get in trouble, if I grift effectively, I got friends in powerful places, like Schindler said. I'm protected by powerful friends. What am I worried about? I don't go to jail. What happened to all them bankers went to jail after 2009? Oh, wait, they didn't. Because they were all part of the system. Shouldn't I then do that? Doesn't that then become the logical step? So I get what you're saying. Not sure that's true, though. That's all I'm saying. Not sure that's true. So, yes. All righty. Let me grab some more of these if I can. Lunatic got some more stuff going on. All right. $5. He says, when do we get Larry on the National Collegiate schedule? Soon. That's what I'll say. Soon. Yes. Lunatic goes on to say, we need to get off compensation that is not directly utility. The issue with that, as I say all the time, theoretically, you are correct. The problem is our communities aren't Amish. The Amish are doing that already, but they already have a system, right? They already have a system that protects and supports. So if you've got kids and you have a lot of kids and you are not able to support them completely, the culture and the community has made a system for you to repair, fix, adjust, right? So Lunatic, you got a bunch of kids and you can't work for 6 months. Well, if I'm Amish, I have a community system to where, okay, you still owe me, but for 6 months, we're going to spot you, whatever, X, Y, and Z. And then you're going to give me whatever, 2 hours of labor every Saturday and help me dig some ditches so you can make up for the time. And that's fine. We've got a system for that. I don't care what the system will be, but we have one. Right now, we don't have that. That's the problem. We don't have that. Now, can we do it? Of course. The Amish do it, right? I use the Amish because they're in New York. But across the world, they have systems to where that absolutely works. This is just Amish, but I just one that I know because it's here, that you can do it. This is possible. But America has gone the opposite. America has gone everything is government. And as you add government, you remove community. Government doesn't care about utility. That's my whole point from earlier. Government cares about checking a box. You are rewarded, Lunatic, in government for checking boxes. You're rewarded for following rules. Outcome is relevant. I wish I was joking. You know what I'm right. Outcome is irrelevant. Utility is irrelevant. Did you follow the rules, Lunatic? You didn't? You are a bad person. Did you follow the rules? You did? You are a good person. That is how you are judged. You follow the rules, you're a good person, here is your money. Do not follow the rules, you are a bad person. You might go, well, Larry, what if the rules are evil? Irrelevant. What if the rules don't achieve anything? Irrelevant. What matters is the rules. Roger says, worker co-ops need to be the talk before we get to UBI. Yes, see, this is where Lunatic's talking about. If we actually had a serious worker co-op system, then we could get to where Lunatic's talking about by having compensation based on utility. Yes, you could do that. But you and I talking about this. Roger was with me last weekend, and we were driving around a bit downstate, and we were talking about this. The idea that worker co-ops, there is a cultural bias against them, and we shouldn't have it. We should allow people to do it to the best of their ability. More worker co-ops means more people having utility, means more community, means more ways and styles to support people, right? And I do want that. I just want community to do it. So, yeah. All right. Covered a bunch of those. All righty. Gene says, isn't the government already controlled by corporate lobbyists? Pretty close is my point. It's pretty close. It absolutely is pretty close. I got to rush through some of these. I'm so far behind. Oh, my God. Yes. All right. Bronna says, I want to thank you all before the chat shuts off. Another nice evening of exchanging views and ideas. See you all tomorrow. You might not have heard what I said, Bronna. I was teasing you, so maybe you didn't hear it. We'll see. Let me head towards, see if you did hear it. Let me go down here, but if I can, grab some more of these. All right. Let's see here. Liberty Lady says, community better than government. True. Absolutely. Gene says, my youngest son recently visited me and explained to me why he wants to live in a different country. Wow. Yeah. Yeah. That is sad. I wish more people wanted to stay here. Yes. Yeah. All righty. Let me keep going. Okay, you did hear. Okay, let me keep going down here if I can. Bronna says, we are all born anarchists and atheists. It's the natural state. Everything else is taught. I mean, maybe. The issue, though, is we are social creatures. So we are the natural state that we're born in, that's what we're going to stay in. We are going to create a society. It's what humans do, right? And that society is probably going to have some type of government structure. So it's not going to remain anarchist, or it doesn't have to. And according to what many anthropologists say, I don't know if this is true, but it feels right. That's what I'll say, and you can decide if you think I'm wrong or not. But they say basically the number is somewhere around 200. Some people say 250, some people say around 200. That once humans, as long as humans are under around 200 bodies and in a village or stuff, they don't require a government. They can function, as Lunatic says, without a government. It's not required. They come up with rules and systems that the tribe or the group or village agrees upon, and they grow into this, right? So they grow into this rule. Some of them are more strict, some of them aren't, depending on their culture. So they may be born anarchists, but they jump into whatever the rules and regulations are of that tribe. That's the norm. Once you get past around 200, when that happens, governments begin to pop up. And according to anthropologists, we become crueler. And we become things like class systems and who's better and who's blah, blah. And what, of course, created that was agriculture. Agriculture made that a whole lot easier. And that became larger cities. And everything began to change from that. Now, I don't know if that's true. I've heard that theory. I believe that. So I think we wouldn't necessarily stay anarchist if we were to stay in larger than 200 people communities, which now we are. So I don't see that as being a state we're going to stay in. Atheist, I mean, it just means you don't believe in a deity. And the vast majority of humans believe in some form of deity. And so I don't think that's natural either. I think most people move towards being some type of theist in some way, shape, or form. I think that's what happens. We're born not being able to speak, and then we speak. And unless we have a medical issue, we will speak. We're born not being able to, do many things, and we move into that as we always do. So I'm not sure I hear what you're saying. I'm not sure that's how it works. Borna says, see, Larry's an anarchist philosophically. I can hope he becomes one in practice. He does seem to get it, but like many, thinks the system can be changed from within. I don't know if it can be changed from within. I just haven't given up yet. That's the issue, right? Borna says, ignore the state out of existence. I dare you to ignore your tax bill. Ignore it. Ignore your tax bill. Not a good move. Ignore your tax bill. Not a good move. I wouldn't do it. Now, again, I'll go back to the same thing that I said earlier. The Tucker Carlson saying, public resistance. Yeah. If, 200 million Americans ignore their tax bill, fine. That will be a movement, because that would mean half of the IRS agents and half of the cops and the enforcers would also be ignoring their tax bill. Yeah, totally works, right? If that's the case. But you doing it, you just go to jail. I don't mean to be cruel. You just go to jail. Nothing's going to change. No one's going to be better off. And everyone who depends upon you and loves you like family and friends, they're all devastated. You can say that. I wouldn't do it. You do as you see fit. I wouldn't do it, though. Lunatic back again. Larry, stop avoiding it. You are our voice. Spike retired. I'm going to see Spike Saturday. You'll see him. You can yell at him if you want to. Stand on business. We all circumvent systems because people agree if we circumvent, we survive. We the people, even though criminal, are patriots. The law of commerce is not. You bring up a very valid point. People always go, that guy's a criminal. That guy's an outlaw, whatever. All of our heroes are outlaws and criminals. All of them. George Washington, outlaw. Gandhi, outlaw. MLK, outlaw. All of Robin Hood, outlaw. Right? Harriet Tubman, outlaw. There are outlaws. The guys that we think are great, outlaws. Right? Han Solo, outlaw, even the fake ones. Right? Outlaw. So you're right. Being a criminal doesn't make you bad, just makes you against the state, which isn't necessarily bad. Could be. I mean, if you're a murderer, that's bad because you've also harmed people. if your crime is against people, that makes you bad. If your crime is against the state, I don't care. What do I care? That's not a thing. So I agree with you. But again, look, the reason why I keep doing this show, many reasons why, but one of them is to get more people to see that we can do this. The vast majority of humans cannot imagine the world that you're talking about. They can't, it's not imaginable, right? Bronner and you, it's not imaginable. They can't, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? You're crazy. That's why they call you lunatic. Lunatic, you're crazy. I'm trying to show them that we can get there. It is possible. And just giving them that hope of, damn, that's possible. It's possible. Yes. Then we make the move. Then we make the move. Now, you guys can help me by doing that, by hitting the like button and by sharing this damn thing. Yes, do that. That will help. Also, make sure you subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, you are harming the channel. Why do you hate me? Why do you hate me? Subscribe. So wherever you're watching, make sure you're subscribing and liking all those things. Click the button. Click all the things. Do all the things so that our evil overlord algorithms will actually help out and move this forward, because more people have to see this so that we can get more people to get it. That's the issue. Get more people to get it. That's a critical piece, and they're not. So yes. All righty. Bronny's still watching. Thank you. I also agree with you that there's a risk for each individual. However, I'm reminded of the question, I am one individual. What can I do? Said by roughly 8 billion individuals. Not true. Not true. At least 7.5 billion of those individuals are not saying that. At least, if not more. Very few people are actually saying that. Most are saying, and moving on and living their life. I wish it was 8 billion people saying it. That's my point. My rant I just went on was to get 8 billion people to say that. I want 8 billion people to say that. If 8 billion people are saying that, we're good. That's when we're good. Right? That's when it works. Yes. Absolutely. Yes. Rona says, thank you for responding, Larry, but I have a few thousand years of documentary evidence supporting my belief. Government is coercion, force, theft, kidnapping, murder. True. It's true. I'll give you this reminds me of something somebody was saying the other day. No, it was actually a long time ago. A friend of mine and I were talking, and she said, Larry, you don't understand. What if people come into your house and there's 4 of them, they've got guns, and they want to put you in the basement. They want to lock you in the basement. You just go in the basement. I said, can I stop them? And do I have other responsibilities? What do you mean? You're not going to let people put you in the basement. I said, you're saying 4 guys with guns. Do I have a gun? Or am I just sitting here and I'm going to karate chop them to death, right? She's like, no. Well, what if you can't? You just got guns. You're just going to just go in the basement. I said, so my option is be shot to death or go into a basement. Now they're just going to shoot me in the basement? She's like, well, no, they're going to enslave you. I said, oh, okay. So they're going to enslave me in the basement. She's like, yeah, you're not going to be a slave, are you? I said, yes, I'm going to be a slave. Yeah. And then I'm going to find a way the next day or days to get those guns and kill those guys and free myself. I'm not going to sit there and be righteous and be shot to death. Now, if they're just going to shoot me in the basement anyway, yes, I'll just fight to the death and I'll die there. I'd rather die fighting. If they're going to shoot me anyway, I'll just go, then I'll take 1 or 2 of them out before they wreck me. I accept that. But if they're going to put me in the basement and the goal is to enslave me, not to kill me, I'll take slavery. I will figure out how to get my revenge. I will then slaughter all of them individually, get those guns, and free myself. That makes sense to me. So maybe I have to accept my coercion, force, theft, kidnapping, murder until I can get myself out of it. Or I can just get killed. Now, if I don't have any responsibilities, doesn't matter. Who cares? This is my point that I brought up earlier this week about men who have nothing to lose. If I have nothing to lose, I'll fight. They'll just shoot me. I don't care. I'm not going to be a slave for them. I have no responsibility. It's just me. What if I got kids? What if I got family, friends, people who rely upon me? Then I might have to take slavery for a little bit because of other people I'm concerned about, other people who I've made a commitment to. It's different. So I don't think it's that crystal clear. That's all I'm saying. Sometimes you might have to. So yes. Lunatic says, your chat is our numbers. Anarchy is agreed upon. We all make these systems of oppression work. We don't need the overlords. Hoo-yah. I do like that. Lunatic trying to get me motivated. You'll get me in trouble, Lunatic. You're going to get me in trouble. Stop getting me in trouble. You're going to get me in trouble. You always ready to get me in trouble. It's true. So yes. All right. Let me go grab here if I can. Can we cover those already? We covered that one already. Good. All right. Okay. I think we covered most of this stuff. That's good. Gene says, my eldest son was taught in school that FDR was a good president. He believed it until my mom told him the truth. I have some of my mom's ration tickets, by the way. Yes. Thank you. Not great at all. Not great. Lunatic goes on. Can do, live free, or in existence. I like what you're talking about. Kim says, first we have to find a system that works, then build it. See, Kim's on my side, guys. And Kim's like always right. So that makes me right. Sorry, guys. It's Kim against you. I win. That's how that works. Thank you, Kim. She's got my back, guys. That's the point. That is the point I was talking about. That's what matters. So yes, that is what matters. So hopefully that will work. Phil says, religion comes from a spontaneous order and contains collective wisdom. Oh, that's sweet. I like that. That is nice. Yeah, I like that. Kim says, our culture has been engineered to be extremely competitive. Amish communities are not competitive because it doesn't work in competition. What the difference, I think, here in this, Kim, is competition, and I teach this actually in my leadership courses. Competition by group can be very successful. Competition by individual creates a dog-eat-dog world. You want to have groups that work together, right? Cooperation is critical. You can compete, but it must be within groups. Then it can become very successful. That's one of the best ways of doing this, if you can, right? You can't always do that, but when you can, that is one of the best ways of doing it whenever you possibly can. So yeah. All righty. I think that covered that piece. Good. All right, guys, here's what I'm going to ask you. As I said, please click the button known as like. It does matter. I bug you all the time. Click all the buttons. You think it doesn't matter? You're wrong. Help the channel. Help us get bigger. Help us move forward by liking and sharing. It really does matter. Remember, after the live is over, once it's done, come back afterwards and go ahead and put a comment. Here's what I want you to comment on. I want you to ask, why do you think, or what do you think of Jimmy Kimmel being canceled? Is it the same old thing? Not the same old thing? Is it some kind of, is it just because he was a bad guy? Is it Trump taking over the world? Whatever it is, I'd love to hear it because I am concerned. Truly, as you know, you can see I am worried about this. I don't like this trend at all. I am worried. To Mike's point, I am wearing my libertarianism on my sleeve. Don't care. Guilty as charged, Mike. Guilty as charged. I'm absolutely doing it. I am doing it. Please do that if you could. And remember, if you are watching this and it's not live, you see two videos pop up. Please pop on one of them and watch for these 8 minutes. Mr. Rhythm, Algo, loves that. Back on tomorrow. Larry-thon, Saturday, 2 to 6. I'll see you all.